Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Well, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. John, myself, Fox. You're on the show this evening. There's a one and only Southside and the Queen of Rangers Radio, Orlando. Evening Southside, evening Linda.
Evening Ox, good evening listeners, and it's good to do another show with Linda this evening. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, good evening you guys, and good evening to all the listeners. I hope you're all keeping well.
All right, I must say, how are you, Southside? How are you, mate?
Aye, no bad for a Monday. I enjoyed the game, well, most of it on Saturday. So apart from that, mate, everything's been all right. 3 points in the bag.
I missed it. Well, the first half lasted an hour and a half, Linda, that.
all the additional time. I don't know what Mr. Clancy was playing at, but never mind. As Southside said, a lot of it was good, but they don't half put us through it at the end, Ox. I wish they would just get another goal, you know.
The first 2/3 was all right, and then it didn't go great after that. Right, okay. Southside, on you go, mate. You floor's yours, then Linda can come in.
I thought it was a decent start to the game, Ox. I thought we passed the ball quite well, and we're on the front foot. Got the goal deservedly, and then a wee bit of a calamity, conceding again. I thought the boy had plenty of space in the middle of the park when the goalkeeper kicked it out. Looked wide open there. Just knocked the ball down the flank to the other boy. Tav didn't come across quick enough. I thought he'd try to go in and block the cross, but he took a couple of touches and put it in. And for then on, it was just a flick by Suter and a fit for proper, and it was in the back of the net. It was really their sort of second attack, I think, in the game, maybe the first. That time, I think they only had another chance in that first half. And then we had seen why we bought or got him on loan, Cherny. Just a bit of class. Just the way he cut inside where I was sitting, as soon as it left his foot, I thought it was in. You could see it was going to go in. And it was a top-class finish, Ox.
What about your mate? You never mentioned CD9 scoring again.
CD9, well, he scored the first one. I thought it was a good shoulder. I don't know, did he header it back across, or would it come off his shoulder, Diamondi?
Well, let's just say did he header it, and I'm not going for that.
Well, he put it into the area, and I thought it was a good finish for CD9. I thought it was quite calm finish, actually, where he just flicked it. It was the right time for us to score. Scott Wright was really unlucky with that pass. That was probably the best pass we've seen for a Rangers player in a long time. It's a good run for him. Just stumbled as he went round the goalkeeper. I thought it being at Hampden, he was a cert to put it in the net. But it wasn't to be. He even cut it back to CD9, who hit it in the direction of the goalkeeper, and he saved it with his legs. And I think if it hadn't, I think it was a defender right there, also might have kicked it off the line. I thought he should maybe have tried to put it in the other corner, just flick your foot at it and put it in the corner, the other side of the goalkeeper. But no, I think he deserved probably to have scored another goal. Dessers, he missed a good chance later on in the second half, didn't he, putting it over the bar. But apart from that, listen, he was on the score sheet, mate, and that's what we want. We want him to get a bit of momentum. And I was happy that he managed to score the first goal.
Hi, Linda, we played all right. We played some decent stuff. You know, obviously, the two escapades that were half. The first one, the boy shot in the south, the side netting. The second half, no long after the second one was no long after we scored our first goal. But even before we get the goal, we had opportunities to make more chances and put the game to bed.
Yeah, definitely, Ox. And as you say, that early chance, I think it was the boy Lennon Miller, it was just a simple ball over the top that we got caught out with. And he probably should have done better, but that gave us a wee bit of a wake-up call. And you're right, after that, we were really on the front foot. A lot of really good play, nice moves up front. And that ball from Cherny that Southside mentioned, it was a shame Wright didn't score that, because that was a brilliant pass. And I think we deserved to take the lead, Ox. I don't think anybody could have argued with that. But it was just a real sucker blow to concede at 1-1, because they hadn't even been in the game apart from that earlier chance. And you just thought, is it going to be one of these days? But as we got a brilliant second, and that was a fantastic finish for Cherny. And let's hope there's more to come from him in that regard, Ox.
Yeah, right. I'm going to put you on the spot, Linda. The own goal. Who are you holding responsible?
I think there's a few errors. The first error is maybe just the setup and the way that we press and these gaps that you keep mentioning that we're all worried about now. Then you've obviously got Tav, who should have maybe get out. I don't know if Tav's thinking that he's not going to cross from there, but because he was only kind of halfway into the half, if that makes sense, Ox, and the guy's just swung it in. John Souttar's not steady. He's not even got himself set up properly. And I'm just wondering, Ox, he's stretching for it. So maybe he should just leave it if he maybe proper, maybe in another few games he would maybe give him a call. But I don't think you could blame Proper at all for that, because he's not expecting that to flick off John Souttar like that, I don't think. But I think there was a few errors, Ox, I'm afraid.
All right. I think you've been kind to Proper there, but I accept the other two errors. Southside, putting you on the spot. I'm going to go all
Well, obviously, the first mistake is that their goalkeeper punts the ball, gets it back, and punts it up, and our midfield are too far forward, and that boy picks the ball up right on the halfway line, totally unmarked. So that's where the problem started. He just got the ball, and there was nobody near him. When he feeds it on him, Tav should get across to try and stop the cross. He should be. But the boys took a touch, and then he sort of sauntered in. I think he realises he's about to cross it, and he's put the ball in, and he's not really in the position to block it. Souttar, probably, if he probably gets a head on it, he's probably going to go for a corner, and I think that's what he's tried today. Proper's just stuck a foot out, a toe out, basically, and it's a fluke, Hawks. It's an absolute fluke. I mean, you could play that scenario 9 times out of 10 again, and that probably wouldn't happen. But it cost us. Butland couldn't get to it. And it was like you say, it was about their first or second venture up the park, and we've lost a sloppy goal for it. And that's just we've got to learn for. Nothing else.
But we reacted well for it, and I thought driven by young Barron, who was, I thought, full of energy, full of endeavour, making decent passes and keeping it simple. Tav and Cherny were knocking about each other. If I'm honest, I didn't think Lawrence contributed a lot in the first half. And Wright, apart from the run, was pretty posted missing for me. Diamande was involved, but without doing a lot. And the two fullbacks, but Tav was getting forward and causing problems. And young Ridvan wasn't as effective as he could have been, but was still doing all right. But two were front, 4, if you like, for me, were pretty. I'm not going to say poor, but they came past them by a bit. Southside, then Linda.
Aye, I agree with you. Lawrence didn't do much at all. I mean, we're meant to try and get him on the ball. That's what he's looking for. He's meant to go and pick up the pockets of space and go on the ball and make the passes or get shots from outside the box and that, and try and create. So he didn't have a great game. I wasn't surprised that he came off. Thought Dessers worked hard. I thought he'd done enough running about and tried to shut down. Scott Wright, apart from his run, I think he sort of headed one back to Ridvan, where he crossed the ball with his right foot that we got the first goal for. And apart from that, he worked sort of hard in what he was made today, sort of shut down, but nothing really for mere creation for him. And Tierney, I think, looked good. I think he made some nice passes infield, sort of linked up with Diamondi, linked up with Dessers, even Lawrence at times, and Tav. So you can see he's a quality player. He's got a pass in him, he's got vision. And as he gets stronger and fitter, we'll see a far better player in him, I think, Oaks, going forward.
Yeah, I'd agree in terms of what Southside said about Scott Wright. You know, he works quite hard. He's trying to do his best, but it's just this lack of end product. And even that one, as we said earlier, he's taking it round the goalie and he just needs to hit that a bit harder. But I don't think he really impacted the game as much as we would want him to. Ox, we need what Cherny did on the right side. We need our left-sided forward to do the same from the other side. Barron, I think, I thought he was maybe the man of the match. He looks as if he's just played in the team for a number of months rather than just a few games, Ox. He's settled in really well. As you see, he's getting about the pitch, he's got bags of energy and he goes and wins the ball and he keeps it simple, and I think we've all really taken to him, Ox.
Here. Listen, Tierney set the way in the standard for the wide men. The last 2 games, a goal and an assist. I'm not saying a winger's going to score every week under, but you've got to, your job is to create or score. You've got to do it regular.
And we've been saying this, particularly last season, we just didn't get enough from the wide men. We can't be over-reliant on the centre forward to get big numbers all the time. We need other players to chip in with goals and assists. If it's coming from the wide, that's great, but we also do need a few of the midfielders to start chipping in as well. We can't be over-reliant on Cyril Dessers to just bail us out all the time, or somebody like Tav, as he has done in the past seasons as well, Ox.
Yeah, so we're in 2-1 up at half-time. I think most people will be reasonably pleased with the performance. So outside them, we get back in it after having a body blow. We've got a good goal and we're playing reasonably well, yeah.
Aye, half-time came, mate, and the only thing we're probably disappointed in that we hadn't added to the scoreline. But apart from that, I was sort of looking forward to the second half. Knew he'd make changes, but I thought we would sort of play similar to we did in the first half.
We started okay, Linda, and then just running about the hour mark, which would have been 75 minutes because the first half was that long, but running about the hour mark on the clock, we'd made a couple of changes, but the energy seemed to just come out the team, and you could see Proper getting really blown, and he was wanting off, and the wheels came off, and I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, I think that you're right. We had a couple of sort of attacks at the beginning of the second half. I remember Cherny put a good cross into Lawrence, and Lawrence had a shot and it was blocked, and it came back to Cherny on his left side and he kind of sclaffed it past, and he was quite disappointed with that, you could tell, because it was on his strong side. But you're right, Ox, I just think once he started to make the subs and somebody like Cherny went off, the quality dropped. I mean, when McCausland came on, Ox, I don't know if you agree, but I thought he started quite brightly.
Yeah, he did.
And then he took a couple of poor touches, Ox, and then his confidence just seemed to sap out of the boy.
I don't disagree with that, Southside.
I think once we took off Tierney and Lawrence went off, I think you lose the creativity in your team. But listen, with the hard game on Tuesday night, they made us run a lot, probably more than we've ran since the pre-season games that we've played. And I just think the legs might have went to some of the players. That was maybe causing the drop-off. I know you brought subs on to get the tempo up again and get them moving, but I just think maybe the changes took a wee bit of the flow out the team, but we lost the creativity as well. So, you know, although we brought on players to try and produce that, they didn't really produce the moments, and as we were dropping off in the second half, it let Motherwell come into the game more, you know.
I slightly disagree with you, Southside. I think the whole team just stopped passing the ball, mate. You know, the guy who was creating, we just couldn't pass the ball 10 yards, and everything started going you know, I agree with you about the tiredness, and most of the players have played all the games, but it's just, I don't know, I can't put my finger on it, mate. I really can't see what happened.
Aye. There was probably misplaced passes in that in the second half that weren't as crisp as they were in the first half. But probably as the game went on, even though we brought in some subs, probably just the energy levels of some players were just dropping, I think. And I just think it was just because of the game on the Tuesday and having to play there, Hampden on Saturday, but still shouldn't be an excuse. But we are playing these, they've got to go again since Saturday. The recovery time's not a lot, and it's going to be 90 minutes. Hopefully we'll do it in 90 minutes, but should it go any more than that, it'll be a hard shift for the players, and they're a far better team than we've faced already this season. Hawks, no.
Aye, I think that's how it's important that we get some players out to get some in, and we're keeping our eye on that even when the show's on the night. Aye, as I said, well, the piece, it wasn't the worst performance we've ever seen, but obviously sometimes when you finish like that, you get more criticism than your overall performance deserves, Linda.
I think so, Ox. And I think it's just because we never got that third and fourth goal that we start to get nervous as a fan group. I mean, the chance that the save that Butland made, I think it was round about the 70th, maybe 75th minute. That's a goal, you know, and it's a fantastic save, and he basically saves us gets us the 3 points there, and that all came from people switching off. There was a ball come over, I think Suter lost the flight of it, from what I remember, and then it ended up on the other side of the box. It comes out the wee boy Miller, he just plays it in, and it drops to the guy, the Motherwell player, and I thought that was going in, Ox, I must admit, and it's a great save by Butland, and that all comes from people just switching off. But it goes back to my point as well. We need to start getting the third and fourth goal in these games, Ox, because I think that just kills off any hope the opposition have got, and it also makes maybe the team feel a bit less tired as well. But we need to get much better at that.
I think that's fair. I'm glad you mentioned John Suter. Listen, I don't think he's had a great start this season. The 3 competitive games, I don't think he's been fantastic Southside, and I'm being polite.
No, he hasn't. He's had his moments of shakiness in the team, but just got to hope that tomorrow night he has a good game, you know, and he's more on it. But he's had shaky moments, and I know, especially even last week against Kiev. But I'm looking for him to settle down. If he's going to manage to play in the right-hand side of your defence, and Robin Proper's going to be the guy that's going to be partner most of the time, then maybe they two will strike a good partnership together, they'll talk together, and things will get better, and you might see a better performance. But his passing's been a bit ropey at times. Even on Saturday, he had the ball and he let the defender get his body in between him and the ball, and it ended up he gave away a throw-in. Just like it's as if he switched off when he had the ball in front of him. But he's had a couple of ropey moments, but hopefully he'll pick up, mate, and he'll start to show a bit better for him.
It looks to me as if he's a wee bit short in confidence, Linda.
Yeah, it might be, Ox, and it's disappointing, and I don't know why that is, because we were hoping that he would just kick on and really cement that place, because he always had to play in the left-hand side when Golson was at the club, so now he's getting to play in the right, and I'm assuming that will continue. We just thought John will kick on now and really, really become, you know, one of the most important players and one of the best players in that back four. So Southside said, hopefully, you know, you get a couple of more games. He's hopefully as well, he's going to keep himself fit. And it might just be a wee bit of a lack of confidence, but we need him to pick up soon, Ox. We really do.
Right. Before we get the phone lines open, we're going to hear from the manager also. But let's talk about the 2 new players. Southside, Tierney making his first start, and Proper coming in for his first start as well, but the 2 of them started. So, thoughts, Southside?
I think Robin Proper looked pretty good at the back. He looked comfortable. He was doing a wee bit of organising. Wasn't scared to put a tackle in. I don't know if where I was sitting, whether he deserved it. When I seen Clancy was refereeing, I thought it might have been a given.
No, I was looking myself, mate, if I'm honest.
No, it was hard to tell from where I was sitting, but he put a couple of challenges in, and just the fluke that hit his toe was the only downside for probably him. Because at the end of the day we got a result, but I think he brings the experience, and I think when he gets his fitness up, he'll look a decent player. He looked quite happy to take the ball forward, and that at times, and his passing seemed pretty good. So, aye, in Tierney, I think you can see that as he gets fitter, he's certainly got the star quality, and you can just tell by looking at the way he picks the ball up and the way he found that bit of space. Motherwell will probably be disappointed he didn't shut him down in there, but when he got the ball at the edge of the box and he hit the shot, it was only going to end up with one result, which was a goal. So I think he'll bring a lot to the team. I think he'll bring a lot of vision. I think he'll fill that void that we've been struggling since Kenda's left on the right-hand side. And I think once he's up to fitness, he'll be a great asset.
Well, if you take Tuesday night's game, the last minute, and then put the first half an hour or 35 minutes of that game together, he said the pass of the week, the goal of the week, and the assist in the last minute. It's no bad, London, in 35 minutes, is it?
Yeah, he's set a reasonably high bar for himself, isn't he? And you know, the pass to get the Dessers goal in Kiev last week was fantastic, and you're just hoping that he was going to start on Saturday, and thank goodness the manager did start him, because we were all doubting whether he would or not. Terrific goal. Southside said he's still finding his fitness because he had a few weeks off after the Euros, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him. But I don't think he'll not be ready for 90 minutes, I don't think, for a wee while, because the manager likes to just do all that very carefully, doesn't he, Ox?
Aye. Hopefully he's got a big influence in the game and tomorrow night. But let's say quickly before we just move on, the subs that come on, they didn't influence the game a lot. I would have liked to have seen Danilo on, if I'm honest, Southside, but we brought Matondo on, and he's one run, and I know you don't sit far away for that, and he's going through, and for me, he's done everything right. He's got the 18-yard box, they've opened up, they're tired, there's a good 5 yards for him to drive in with his pace, and it hits like the shot, nothing effort, no.
It was really poor, wasn't it? He could have probably went a bit further into the area and maybe drew the keeper and side-footed it, but let's be honest, it was pathetic effort. I know he hit the target, but come on, it was poor, really, really poor. And that's end product is what you're looking for, and that's what he's not produced. And I don't know, listen, he'll probably be there until we can move him on. I don't see him being part of Clermont's plans. Maybe is he like Scott Wright? He's maybe should do things maybe in the last 15-20 minutes. And if he'd done what he should have done was score on Saturday when he was in the box or just outside it, then you'd have thought, right, okay, you're contributing. But no, it was terrible, mate, to watch. It was pathetic effort. It really was. It was bad. Really bad.
Wonder, you'd be kinder.
No, I've got to agree with Southside. I think Southside have been quite diplomatic, his choice of words there. I just thought it was woeful.
I've heard Southside called a lot of things, but never a diplomat.
No comment. I was surprised that Matondo come on. I don't know what we're likely to see Jeffy tomorrow night, but I thought that Jeffy would have come on just for a wee cameo role there because he'd done so well on Tuesday. And the point about Danilo, I think it's what I was saying earlier. I think if we get a third and fourth goal, I think he takes Dessers off and brings Danilo on, Ox. But we still needed a real shift from the centre forward, and maybe Clermont, I know he made a few subs, but he maybe just thought it wasn't the game to bring Danilo on again, which is a shame for him because we've not seen him yet, haven't we not?
No. I mean, obviously we can't. It's no fair in Dessers, somebody's going to have to take a bit of the burden. People have their own thoughts in Dessers, but that's a whole different debate. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to hear from the gaffer. It's quite a long interview, so we'll split it in two. So we'll hear the first half for the gaffer, get the phone lines opened, and we'll take it from there. If that's all right, we used to upstanding members of the community.
Brilliant.
Aye, okay. Go with that.
All right, okay. Let's hear from your gaffer, Philip Clement.
We spoke at the weekend about the need to manage minutes of players, particularly at this stage of the season. How is everyone from the weekend with a view to playing tomorrow? And the bigger picture, how the likes of Igmani and Siala, who are both part of training today?
Who? Hamza, Igmani, and who else? You said?
Siala.
Clinton, yeah. No, it's a few questions in a row. First, we have one doubt towards tomorrow from the squad that was there in the weekend. That's Leon Belligan, who felt something at the end of the game. So he didn't train today. We will see how he's tomorrow. The rest, everybody came well out of the games. Of course, it's really short. Today was the second day, so it was really very calm training. It's more recovery now because it's still 48 hours or less than 48 hours after a game. And it's about making the choices tomorrow with who to start and knowing for several positions that I need to change and who to put in that moment, and to make good decisions. What you need in the beginning of the game, what you need maybe at the end of the game. Also to think about overtimes, for example. That's also a possibility. So, interesting choices to make.
In the bigger picture of things, how...
sorry, I didn't respond to your third question. So, Hamza and Clinton are... Clinton is training everything, and Hamza is doing parts of the training now with the group. So, step by step, he's going to the physical level that we need in the training and then later on in the games. But he's showing a lot of interesting things with the ball. What we saw also in the images that we saw from him in the games in Morocco. But he's settling in well. Also with the language, he's starting to learn his first English words, and he's feeling really happy and grateful to be here, and he's very determined to become a good player here.
I had a lot of discussions this summer about budgets and projects here and kind of long-term planning. How important is Champions League participation in making those things happen on schedule?
Yeah, it's not on schedule. I think it can faster things, make things faster. So it's not budgeted to go to the Champions League, and that's the best way, because some teams have done it in the past and they had really big financial problems out of that. So we cannot do that, clearly. So of course, if you can go to the Champions League, it will give another budget. Only thing is that it will be the last hours of the transfer market at that moment. But it would be an important thing, maybe for now something, but for sure for the future windows for the club. So we do everything to succeed, but we know also, look at all the group of teams playing for that. There are a lot of teams in there with a bigger budget than ours. That's the reality. But we're gonna go really hard to qualify in that way. But let's first focus on the Kiev game first, because we need to win that one first.
In terms of the game tomorrow night, that great last-minute goal you scored, getting the draw last week, do you feel you've got command of the tie? Do you feel that it's in your hands now with that late goal?
I don't think you have command of the tie. I think it's two teams really at the same level, where they have the advantage of playing longer together. But the team did really well. Our team did really well in Kiev tactically, and it's not easy with new players, with the players coming back out of injury, with all the squad to be that good in that game. I was really pleased about that, and scoring the last minutes. It was a deserved goal. So at the end, we had more shots on target than them in the game, and of course, you want this goal faster, but there's also a really good goalkeeper on the other side who had who had a lot of international games also with Ukraine, so with a lot of experience. So he had a few really good saves. I think the header of Cyril in the second half was a very good header, far post, and it was a really top quality save also. So you need some luck in those moments.
Do you expect the game to differ much? Will your approach differ at all?
Yeah, we will do some different things we saw where we can hurt them with, and we put more focus on that. I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe they're gonna wait more and sit more and count on the counter attacks, on the transitions. That I don't know, but we need to be prepared for the different scenarios. So it's a really good footballing team, like they showed against Partizan. I think that part we took out a lot with being good compact and with a good pressing as a team. But they are also really dangerous on set pieces, for sure, with Popov, and they're really good in the transitions also. So it's a team with a lot of experienced guys and young talents, and a team with a lot of experience in Europe also.
Obviously, you had your first game at Hampden at the weekend, but European nights at Ibrox under the lights, so famous, the atmosphere. What do you expect the atmosphere to be like on Tuesday night?
I hope like in Ibrox. I hope that, and that the fans feel already more at home after the first time. And the first time it's always like the first day in school. You feel a little bit uncomfortable. It will be now for a lot of people the second time in that way, and like this, that we can create an Ibrox atmosphere in Hampden also. It would be a huge achievement also from the fans to sit a little bit further away from the pitch, but still create the same atmosphere. So I hope they can get there, and we're gonna give everything on the pitch that they are enthusiastic about things. That's our role to do also, of course. It's not a one-way street.
You spoke about possibly getting through the Champions League for the week, but what difference does it make to your transfer budget, even getting through to the next round?
Not super much, I think. So I don't think it will be a big difference, but I said it last time also, I'm not the accountant here in the club. I'm not the one looking, okay, we spent 200,000 there, we get 100,000 there. We had really clear talks about that with a clear plan before we went in the transfer window. There are other people deciding now where to spend the money. Of course, I give priorities in positions. So in that way, I'm focused on that and on the team and on the staff and on making everything really good here and with the players available. And then to see if there are other names coming up that we look at them, look at their qualities and making choices in that way.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
All right, well, we'll take the bad news first. Big Bal, there you go. He had a strange game when he came on, and he was, let's just say, I think he was getting ready for a night out when he came on, and then he kind of his finest half an hour, but a shame if he's picked up a knock again. And your points outside, he's not going to play all the time. Coming for fruition already.
Yeah, I didn't want to be right, but he's picked up a knock, and well, we did. We did debate it last week. Bridge wanted him to start and play the game. And I said maybe with a view to the Tuesday night game, he might be the better coming in then and taking part in that. But because Proper obviously couldn't finish the 90 minutes, he had to come on. And he's picked up an injury, unfortunately, which doesn't sound too clever for the way the manager spoke about it, Ox, does it?
Oh, I think we could do with our centre-half, if I'm honest, under,
Yeah, definitely, Ox, and even setting aside Balogun being injured, we're we're not getting very much from, if anything at all, from Ben Davies, and it's not any disrespect to him, but I would imagine that he would be one that the manager would be quite happy to move on. But as you've always said, it's not easy to get players out the door. So if Balogun has got an injury, and we can't rely on him anyway, we've all said that when we gave him the year's deal, he can't be the number one centre-back. He's got to be backup for that very reason, albeit he has only come on for a cameo and he still picked up an injury. Be interesting to know what, if you ask the manager what would his number one priority signing be. He's probably got 5.
Aye. We'll keep our eye on social media, see if anything damps are right with the outgoings. But aye, that's a fair comment. But I think we could do another one south side, yeah.
Aye, I think we need a right-sided defender. Balogun's there for cover. Obviously, then it's between him and Suter usually. If Ben Davies is going to lose his place in the left-hand side to Proper, I think Ben Davies will be on the bench tomorrow night. You think you'll probably have to for cover. So, while he's there, it doesn't look like he's going to manage to push our new signing that we're signed to play left side out the team. So you'd like to think, you might think, well, I might need to go and try and look elsewhere, and I take it we might be looking at that position. But if anything happens to Suter while Balogun's struggling from time to time, then we're really in soapy bubble, mate. That's the thing.
2 left 50 players.
Aye, then you've only got Leon King.
Aye. Or Sterling is an emergency, yeah.
Aye, well, he probably could, but he has said many a time when he was asked before, do you play centre back? He went, oh no, please no. Although he did, he said he certainly wasn't looking forward to that. But I know he went in there up there against him. He felt in at centre back as well. But I think he'd prefer to play probably midfield or else out in the right back position.
Someday, we've been accused that everybody isn't the support, doom and gloom, and that all these players are bad, the guys that have left the club and the ones who go to the snow and they don't fancy this, you don't fancy that. I'm as guilty as anybody, Linda. For the last 3 European ties have been Dynamo Kiev, Benfica and Real Betis. Away from home, we've not lost a game. How does it add up, Linda? So when the Betis and won, we should have won in Benfica, and arguably we should have won the other night.
Yeah, we tend to sometimes write off players, but they can turn a performance in. And there was a lot of games last season that they played well. It was just obviously we couldn't go over the line-ox, and they went and actually did a really good job, as I said, last Tuesday to get that draw, and they never gave up. And I think if we'd actually scored the equaliser earlier, I think we would have gone on and probably won the game, Ox. But what I liked was that we kept going to the end. And we're not renowned for scoring 90 plus 4-minute goals over the last few seasons, but it's a good habit to get into. But I hope tomorrow night he can put. I'm happy that he's got a lot of players available to him that he can put a team together to go out and get the job done tomorrow night. Despite the fact that we've still got players that are not fit enough to play yet, like Igaman and Nsiala, and then obviously the Balogun injury. I think with the players that he's got, Ox, I still think we'll be able to hopefully get the job done.
Yeah, hopefully these boys can get in the squad, and first of all get in the squad, then get in the team, and we'll see how good they are and get a chance. I think they'll be slow burners, but we'll just watch. So outside remarkable Clement's last 3 away results in Europe against the Monks, mate.
No, decent opposition. We've managed to get results. Listen, we've been decent in Europe. Was it Eindhoven last year? Was it PSV, wasn't it? Was it them or fight? You could tell they were a class apart. And deservedly they went into the Champions League and done pretty well. But as you're talking about Real Betis and Benfica and that, and then Dynamo Kiev there, 3 great teams. And we're this result probably I thought on Tuesday night, a lot of people had us well beat before we even got there. I'd said on here I didn't think they might be as good as what people make out, but they are a good team, but they're not a brilliant team. So, Clemont's done well to get the results. The team's done well, the squad, and we've just got to hope on Tuesday night, mate, when we've got a home game at Hampden, that we'll do enough on the night. They will be dangerous, and I think it'll be a wee bit end-to-end at times, and maybe need to cover your eyes, but as long as we don't concede and we make sure we score first, and obviously they'll be dangerous right up until I don't see us getting 2 and 3 goals against them. I'd like to think we could, but I think it'll be a wee bit end-to-end at times. It'll be a wee bit nervy, but as long as we get through, mate, that's what matters.
All right. So it's a night for the blood pressure tablets. Is that what you're saying?
Aye, definitely.
Right, okay. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll hear the second part of the Gaffer's interview. That's all right,
Yep.
we used to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and see what other snippets we can pick up. All right, let's see for the Gaffer. Philip, come on.
The players leaving the squad as Jose Cifuentes set to leave Rangers.
Yeah, I see I read things in the newspapers also. I didn't hear anything that something is done with somebody, and that's a pity. Yeah? We have several here still in the building, or like Sifu not in the building, and because of that it stops also to get other players. But for the moment I didn't hear that somebody officially is going somewhere else.
Is that proving difficult or frustrating for you, trying to get players out so you can then get players in?
It's not the nicest thing, but you need to adapt. I told you I'm not the accountant, and the club don't ask me also to pay for everything, to pay the transfer. So I know my role in the story, and the role in the story is to get the best out of the squad that is here, and to make the squad better for the future, to make it better also that we have more players who have the capability to grow here and to be to gain interest from other clubs and to sell them for the future. So that plan is clear, and I know my role in that.
Philippe, there's been a number of incomings and going since the end of last season. Currently, do you think the squad is stronger than it was at the end of last season?
I don't want to make these comparisons now. Ask me this question not the 1st of September, give me a few days after.
Philippe, not just financially, but how important for you as a manager is it to get players out if they aren't wanting to stay at Rangers, just in terms of how it affects maybe the training pitch and the atmosphere? How important?
No, I cannot say that anybody affects the training pitch or the atmosphere, because then it's easy to put them out of a building also. That's not been the case. So everybody who's been here, who's been training here, was with the right attitude, and also in the right way in the dressing room. I had a talk also with the captain group about that a while ago, that they had to keep an eye on that and give me signals if it's not the case, and it is not. So there are no problems around that.
Philippe, we spoke to Jack before your media conference, and we were asking him about the interest in him in the last transfer window, and he's told us that he's had discussions with the hierarchy. Both he and the hierarchy are on the same page in terms of his future being here. How reassuring is that for you to hear that?
No, it's important, and it shows also that we're on the good way, because people with that quality, and they feel like this story is not going the right way, they step out of the story, and they will have several other opportunities. So Jack feels what's going on inside the building, what's going on inside the squad, how things are evolving here in every sense, things that fans cannot see because they only see the game and the result at the end, and you guys also. So it's a really big signal, I think, that somebody after his season, somebody with his quality is saying that. I think it's a really symbolical thing.
Is Liam Kelly pushing him now after his arrival? Have you seen an uplift in Jack's performances with a new goalkeeper in the mix as well as Liam Kelly?
It's not like I've seen suddenly now that Jack is 2 times better than he was last season. Would have been difficult, because then it would be really difficult to keep him. And we would not have conceded 1 goal. not even the difficult own goals there, for example. No, it doesn't work that way. But Liam is already really important in the squad. He's very attentive in all the meetings. He's talking a lot with the players. He's helping the young guys with tactical things. So he's really, really involved in the story, and he's really somebody with a Rangers heart, and that you see.
Václav's journey showed really positive signs on Saturday. Is that the standard? Is that the quality of player you really want to bring to the club? More of his level?
Yeah, of course, but that's logical. You have ideas in your heads how you want to play football, and he's the kind of player, the creative one, who can make the difference, and we need to raise our quality there. We spoke a lot about efficiency last season, and we're working hard on that. And players are making really good steps in that. To give one example, 6 months ago, if Ross played on the right side, he never came to a shot with his left foot. He never did that. He never did it the years before. But we've been working on that last couple of months a lot. He's been working on that. He's really conscious about it. He's very motivated about that. And that's why he get the good shots also in Kiev against the post, because it's getting more and more natural. But this is a process that takes time. And we are with all the players, with everybody doing different things around that next to the collective trainings. Of course, Václav is somebody who's experienced and who went to this trajectory already in the past to become a better player. And so I hope to get a few more like that in, and it makes life of everybody easier. Yeah.
I think it's understandable that finance has been mentioned with the Champions League group stages, but as you said yourself, you're not an accountant, it's the same for players. Is it as much about prestige rather than pound notes for this football club to get in the Champions League group stages?
Yeah, but of course, and it's in the first place as a player, as a manager, it's about competing against the best. That's why I always like to be in the Champions League when it was as a player or as a manager after. It's the nicest place to be. It's also the most challenging place for your players also, because they can compete against the best and all the spotlights of the world are on them. So yeah, of course, that's the main thing. As a club, of course, you need to look at both, and you need to look at the exposure and the tradition and to want to be there. But the finance are really important in football, and I think this club knows this really well after what happened 12 years ago. So it's a really important thing to keep a good balance in those things, and not to make silly faults that you come into trouble. So the club is very, very conscious about that. I know that, and together we want to create a really good story, a strong story for the future. But it's not a story that you can write in 3-4 weeks. That we know, that they know, everybody knows. So we're working hard on that. So the Champions League can help to make the story go faster.
Okay. Just last one.
Yeah. You spoke in Saturday post-match about how pleased you were with the team defending the transition phase of the game. Does that carry even more emphasis looking ahead to tomorrow night?
Yes, it's going to be crucial because they're lethal in that. They're really fast, very good technical players. Van Aert also is a striker who finds depth fast, but you have also infiltrations of the midfielders, the wingers, even the fullbacks. So yes, it's a team you need to be on your toes all the time. You need to be switched on all the time. Otherwise you get into trouble. But those are the top games, and the players need to be ready for that and to be switched on for these evenings. And I hope the fans help in that way also to push us through the difficult moments.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
The big thing I took out of that is we need to get people out the door. I think that's just confirmed it for me when you read between the lines, Linda.
Yeah, definitely, Ox. And God, the manager does well with all these questions, doesn't he? He's answering questions about finances, about budgets, and then he's obviously trying to focus on his playing staff. And I'm looking forward to the day where he gets a press conference where it doesn't have to last as long as that, and he's just talking about playing football, Ox, and that might be a wee while away, but yeah, definitely players out the door, and he answers everything so well because they're trying to get there's a narrative there about maybe perhaps players that are wanting to leave, maybe upsetting the dressing room and creating, negative atmospheres, but he just nailed that. That's not the case. And he's clever enough to ask people to maybe keep an eye on it. I'm not surprised at that either. But no, definitely we need to get players out the door. Definitely, Ox.
Aye. Thoughts, Southside?
Some of the questions he asks him surprises me sometimes, honestly. Jack Butland been talking to directors seeking assurances. Really? What do you think of that, Ox?
He said the upper echelons. That was the words I think the word used, mate. I wonder if that's been talking about football, mate. Yeah.
Aye, I could see him saying director of football, but I think when it gets to certain direct.
That was my initial thoughts, because obviously nobody would have had any directors there or do the steelworks driving some steel.
I know. He said on flights, team flight, you get to sometimes go up and pick directors' brains and have a wee chat. Listen, I don't know what I seek assurances. I think the assurances are that when you come to Glasgow Rangers, it's about winning. He's already said that. He was third choice at Manchester United, and he's now got the privilege to play at our club. So if he's got any desire to go down to England because he thinks things aren't going to go right, then where's he going to win medals? I just took it. I maybe not came across that, but when I was listening to what he was saying, I'm thinking, here, wait a minute, mate. Our club's built on winning every week, so there shouldn't really be. You should really discuss that with the manager and maybe the director of football, unless I've just read into it a bit more. But I don't like my players going and sitting and having conversations with directors. I think your manager and the rest of them deal with it.
My initial thoughts were the football director, mate. Is it Coppin? Am I getting his name? Is that his name? Got it right?
Coppin, aye.
And Neil's Coppin, so he might have been sitting and talking to him. That was my initial thoughts outside that. I didn't think he was sitting with John Bennett and the boys, the boys. Any of them boys, but you know what I mean. I don't know how you took it.
It's unusual, sorry.
No, on you go, Southside.
It's unusual just for a player to say that, I thought,
Aye. He seems committed, so he's seen what's happening. It's a project. Things people have moved on. Other people's going to move on. People that weren't contributing are going to move on. And we're going to bring players in that will hopefully contribute, like Cherny and Jeffy and last Tuesday night, who I didn't see coming, and then we'll get proper, and all of a sudden you throw Barron in, and you see a new team that we didn't think was happening, Linda, and it is.
Yeah, it is, and it's nice to start to see, some new, fresh players in the team and actually making a contribution. See, the Butland thing, Ox, I wondered if there's a possibility that he's been having conversations about staying, if we've had any inquiries, which they're not going to really say that they have had anyway, that perhaps they've sat down with him and I know what you're saying, Southside, I'm just not sure it came across the way that I think he meant to actually say it there, but it could have been, Ox, that there's been discussions about his future. Because if they've had maybe even expressions of interest and they've said to him, we don't want you to go, and he sat down and, that's maybe the discussions that they've had. But you're right, Southside, you don't really want players talking to directors in that regard, but it might have just been around that, Southside, maybe just talking about his future.
Aye, it could have been. I listened to his interview. He just said something like, I get it. Listen, there's no problem with him talking to a director if they're on a flight saying, hello, how are you, Jack? Blah, blah. It was just the way he said it. But listen, I don't think, maybe it was just the way he phrased it. But I think he knows that we need to win, and the object every season is to go out and win cups and trophies and win games every week. That's what it's meant to happen. So I was just surprised when he said that, because if he does eventually go to England, then he'll not be winning many medals because he'll not be playing for any of the top teams in England. So, but no, I'm hopefully he stays with us and has a massive season this year, because he's needed. And the more night, hopefully when he's tested, he'll come up trumps as usually our goalkeepers do in Europe box.
Mm-hmm. Aye, well, we'll see what it takes, isn't it? I think there's hopefully some movement in the next week or so. Obviously, the transfer window's not open that much longer in London, but as I say, the hardest thing's getting people out the door, and we keep hearing the Cifuentes one's close, and we have various stories about it. But we'll see where it goes, and we need these people to leave. Not that they've got contracts, but we need them to leave to play up the wages to bring other people in, because common sense tells you we can't go out and sign another 2 midfield players when we've got 3 that's not going to contribute.
Yeah, and we want to get decent fees for the mocks. You know, there's other teams that are allegedly doubling their money on players that haven't really made an impression. And then you've obviously got other teams that have taken in reasonably good fees. So I can understand the club are holding out for what they think perhaps a player's worth. Because at the end of the day, it's not just like a sale, you know. But we've got to be prudent, and we need to get decent fees in, because that will obviously affect what we can then go and buy and what we can offer players. But it must be quite frustrating for him, the manager. But he does actually, with the way he talks, he understands the full picture. I mean, he makes references to 2012, etc. So there's obviously been big discussions with him, but I wonder if he's at these type of media conferences in his previous roles, where, as we said earlier, there he's answering questions on every single topic.
No, I would think that they wouldn't have the media that would be so negative. You know, if you were playing in Bruges, the local media would be trying to encourage and build up the club and say, what a fantastic thing you've done in Europe over the last few years for the whole of Scottish football. Please, lads, keep it going. These are the standard bearer for the whole of the game in Scotland and Europe. But no, I must have missed that bit outside.
Aye. The teammates, the king of the coefficient, you know. Aye, listen, you think they'd be talking. Whatever they ask, they're going to go and ask questions. I'd like to have asked a wee bit more on even other players or whatever, spoke a bit more about the game. I'd like you to have known the Fraskin's back near fit, or is it going to be the 45 weeks that they said he was going to be out? Nobody even asked him that question. But no, same with Hadji and Cantwell sitting there. I suppose they said they're not really disruptive players, or the type of players that, but it sounds it. But I don't know. I sat and I thought about it the other night, and I thought, could you not just have maybe got one of them back into that squad? You know you're going to be selling them, but while they're there, if we're looking for that type of player in that number 10 role, for talking sake, and we've got 2 of them there, because we want a player that can go and pick the ball up, vision, shoot with both feet, score from outside the box, contribute, go on the ball, make things happen. And the 2 of them on their day can, and yet we're trying to put them out the door, and we've got nobody in there to replace them if anything happens to Tom Lawrence. So I had thought about that, and I'm just thinking, they obviously come on, just dismiss the 2 of them, so that ain't going to be happening. But we've got 2 players there that probably were trying to get a player like that in the door.
Yeah.
Aye. Obviously, Cantwell's asked for a transfer. I don't believe Hadji has, even though we've seen his agent enough in the media in London.
Yeah, and the thing with Hadji, he's come back from the Euros, so he's actually just started he's way behind in the pre-season. Otherwise, perhaps if that hadn't been the case, and we might have he might have been maybe forced to give him some minutes. Albeit, I do think Ox, it's mutual, and Hadji's has says that he would rather leave. But certainly, I think he's been playing for the B team, because I think he scored a hat trick at the weekend, didn't he? But Cantwell's not featured for the B team since that one game.
No. All right, we'll get near the tune. If you two don't mind getting yourself on mute, we'll really start turning our attention to tomorrow night. Hopefully get some callers in. So let's have a tune.
As we go marching down the Paisley Road, the west, the doors and the windows open wide, you will hear the people cheer. The Glasgow Rangers boys are here. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. Blue is the colour, football is the game. We're all together, Glasgow Rangers is our name. For we are the best team in all Scotland, and Glasgow Rangers is our name. So bring on the Celtic, your Hibs and Aberdeen, your Dundee United, we're the best you've ever seen. We play hand on heart, God save the Queen. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. As we go marching down the Paisley Road west, the doors and the windows open wide, you will hear the people cheer. The Glasgow Rangers boys are here. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. Blue is the colour, football is the game. We're all together, Glasgow Rangers is our name. For we are the best team in all Scotland, and Glasgow Rangers is our name. So bring on the Celtic, your Hibs and Aberdeen, your Dundee United, we're the best you've ever seen. We play hand on heart, God save the Queen. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. It's Glasgow Rangers for me. It's Glasgow Rangers for me.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
All right, we're back.
Yep.
Right. We need to watch for the big Buckland talk, because I don't know if Linda could handle getting rid of another cardboard cutout Southside, you know what I mean?
Unless it's a super bid that we would be struggling to turn down, then I'm hoping he'll still be here and she can keep her cardboard cutout.
We'll just replace it with proper.
All right, okay.
All right.
All right, okay. All right.
Sorry, I gave that one away.
What's the that? We're shaking a shack Buckland one just to get a bigger bed Southside.
No Stevie G.
I bet Stevie G's still there in the cupboard, isn't he?
Oh, he is. He's still
He
there.
comes out in case of emergencies, break glass.
Oh, Stevie G. Aye.
Aye, well, aye. Right, okay, so talking about Buckland, I think we'll agree that he'll start tomorrow night, Southside.
Yep, aye.
And after that, the whole lot's up for debate. Yeah?
It sure is.
Right, do we agree, Linda, that Tav will be right back?
Yes. Agreed.
And that'll be the second game out of 5, Southside, just for...
That's all right. It's all right.
Mm-hmm. You're good with the predictions, apart from the Super 6, mate. Sorry for not mentioning it earlier on, but...
All right, thanks for that. First game of the season. Do you know that? See the game that finished 1-0? That should really have finished 4-3. I watched the highlights in the games, honestly, man.
You had a decent start, mate. You had a
I know.
couple up.
I know.
Puffing and puffing, and then it went Pete Tong, didn't it?
2-0 and 1 each. Not good enough.
Well, not a bad effort first game of the season.
Mhm.
But that was the one you got up last year, so you're actually behind the 8 ball.
Well, Premiership's not started yet, so.
We'll see, mate. We'll see. Right, okay, so that's heading towards 13 month. Right, okay, that's some kind of record. Right, okay.
That's a shame.
He loves it. He loves it.
Yeah, you can get 13 months for saying the wrong thing.
Good one.
For pushing the wheelie bin. Right, okay. Right, so Tav at right back, Ridvan at left back. Don't see any changes there, Linda.
No, I'd agree with that, Ox.
Right, south side. The way it's looking, it's going to be proper on Suter again.
Sounds like that, Ox, the way the manager indicated. Balogun never trained, and I don't think he'll risk him.
Linda?
Yeah, I think that he'll go with that, and he might have started Balogun if he hadn't picked up the injury, but I think it'll be Suter and proper.
Okay, so Barron and Diamandi or Barron and Stirling, Southside?
Barron and Diamandi.
Linda?
Yeah, I think he'll go with that. I think he'll go with that pairing, yeah.
Okay. Right. Wide right, Tierney. Linda?
Yes, Tierney keeps his place.
I'll agree with that.
Wide left. Right, this could take a while. Southside.
Oh, dearie. I would just fling FD in there because the other two have been bomb scares to a point. And then if he tires, then you'll have to bring somebody on with the pace. They do bomb forward, Hawks down that right hand side. He might decide to go with, dare I say it, Scott Wright just to try and match pace, but he didn't do it in the first game, so I think I would go with FD and hope that we're on the front foot. But if we're not, then we'll be doing a lot of running, so I'll go with FD, mate. I think we need to try and create going forward, and I think he might be the better bet.
Is that how you thought he never come on at the weekend?
He might have kept him because he knows about he'll have to have, when we've not got the ball, we're going to have to do a lot of running off it. So we need to try and control most of the game or large parts of the game. But in Europe, you're not going to control all the games. So probably kept him just in case he was going to start him maybe, Ox, and I think that might be in his mind to start him.
Linda?
Yeah, I hope he does start FD. I would have him on the left. I think it worked better in the second half last week when he came on to try and kind of nullify their threat there, because I don't think Scott Wright did enough in that regard. I think Yilmaz was a bit exposed at times, so I think the two of them work better. So I would start with FD out in the left, Ox.
Okay, so we're left for the centre forward, and it's number 10. So CD9 up top, south side, your man.
Yep, all day long.
Linda?
Yep, definitely for me, Dessel starts.
Right, number 10, Linda.
I wish we had somebody else because I think Lawrence has played a lot of football, Ox, but I think it'll be Lawrence.
Southside.
I think Lawrence will start, even though he wasn't great on Saturday. I think he's probably going to start in there. That's his picked our team really, but he's going to be looking at the bench because some of the players might not last the 90 minutes, so it'll be where he thinks. And if Yefty doesn't start, or depending what he's got, because Ridvan might not last the full game, I don't know. Proper might not last the full game because he came off after 55 minutes. Let's be honest, he looked as if he was needing to come off, didn't he?
I just went under his socks for doing, wasn't
he? The manager said he's had a busy couple of weeks there, but he has done a full pre-season. He was quite quick to emphasise that in the presser there, so during the week there. So, but you know what it's like, Ox. His first time he's playing with new teammates, new surroundings, and I think he was signalling for a while to get off.
He'll be fitter for the game, but Southsider.
Aye, 100%. He's getting minutes into him, like you said. He's done a pre-season with FC20, but that was his first main game since he'd done his pre-season. So I'm hoping he'll last the 90 minutes, really, and I'm hoping that we've got most of the ball, keeping the pressure off the defence for long spells in the game, and it'll keep him a bit fresher. But I'm hoping he'll see the 90 minutes. There might be one or two players we'll probably have to change through time, but hopefully we'll be on the front foot. And if we can get a goal or two, that would be amazing, just to get the first 2 goals in the game. And then seeing how the game's gone, they'll be dangerous as long as they'll come and attack box, and they'll be dangerous. They've got good quality players. We've seen it for the first leg. So they'll come with a bit of belief, no doubt, that they can come and beat us, and they'll try and maybe dominate the ball. And they use the ball well. And sometimes we're a bit open from midfield to the wings. So I'm hoping he's got a plan for that. And he said he's looked at him after the first game and he can see a couple of more weaknesses. So hopefully we'll exploit them, and that's what we need to do. Just keep the door at the back shut tight if possible, and just get up the park and create chances, and hopefully somebody will take 1 or 2.
Aye. Win the game, Linda. Simple as that, innit? Win the game.
Yeah, definitely, Ox. If we could get an early goal, I think that obviously he talked about the Ibrox factor and the fact we won't have that, but the fans will get right behind the team, and it doesn't matter that it's at Hampden. I still think it could be intimidating for Kiev. So I just think if we could get on the front foot, as I say, get the fans off their seats, and an early goal would be ideal, I think.
The Hampden factor. It's definitely not the same atmosphere Southside, is it?
No, it's not. I heard that on Saturday. Sitting with a lot of different people, obviously. Most of the people I sit with at Ibrox, but because I'm next to, where I sit up, we're next to an exit. So there was a lot more seats to our right hand side. So there was a lot of more different faces. That were all sitting together. There was a lot of them singing and that, and some weren't they. But it's trying to generate that atmosphere. We're right close to the pitch at Ibrox, and they can see. We've seen players do mad things sometimes at night in the European nights for players and different teams over the years. Hampden isn't the same, but hopefully it'll be a good atmosphere. But it's about the team performing. We'll try and do our best for the stands, but the team's got to do it on the park, and hopefully they will.
Linda?
Yeah, the players have got to take responsibility. Sometimes the emphasis is put on us as fans, but they've got to give us something to actually shout about. And I think they will, because they are dangerous. You think about their performance last Tuesday, Ox, but when watching that game, when we were losing 1-0, I felt disappointed that we were, actually, because I just thought this team, they're there for the taking. And actually, as I said earlier, if we had got that equaliser a bit sooner, I think we would have been on and won the match. But it's up to us. We're the home team. We need to take the game to them. But as Southside says, be mindful of them on the counter-attack. And the manager was speaking about that as well, because they have got some forward players that could hurt you if you give them space. So we need to make sure that midfield is set up properly, Ox, and we don't have this situation where one ball just takes out our midfield and they're on the counter.
Aye, we'll go forward. We've got, if one of our midfield holders gets involved in the play, you're on top of our centre halves quite quickly, Southside, didn't you, if it breaks down?
Aye, there was a pass that I seen Conor Barron making to Diamonde on Saturday, and it was about a 15-yard pass to him. Conor Barron was just on our halfway line, but he was out at the touchline near the dugouts, and he played it in between two Motherwell players to Diamonde. And I remember thinking, that was a great pass, but if you look at the middle of your midfield, there's a big massive hole. There's no players there. All it took was him not to get that ball intercepted there, or Diamonde to lose it, and you can run right through the middle of your midfield, right round the centre circle. It was a massive hole. So something has to give somewhere at some point, because good teams will pick you off. But at the moment, they're holding up, and we'll need Butland to have a big game. Let's not be kidded. We usually count on our goalkeepers in European nights. No matter who's been in goals over the years, we look for them. They have to have a big performance usually for us. And McGregor used to do it, and Gorham's done it in the past. Kloss has done it. So we're hoping Butland will have when he's called upon, he'll be there to make the save, because we're not going to get away scot-free all night, that's for sure. But I'm looking forward to it, Ox. I think it'll be a wee bit end-to-end at times, but I'm hoping that we can try and get a wee foothold. Listen, they don't look great in their defence. They look like we can get to them. It's midfield to front. They're pretty quick. I've got a few nationals who have been at Hampden and played for the Ukraine in the past against Scotland, so they'll probably not be phased about going to Hampden and playing. And it is quite a big wide park, so we'll just need to be wary when they're coming down the sides. If we give them chances, we need to get out there and shut them down and not let the crosses come into our box.
Right, come and join us. Give your thoughts. Have we got the team rang in your opinion? 0141 356 1972. It's a call-in show. We need you to get involved. Give your thoughts, your hopes for tomorrow night. As I said, have London and Southside got the team right? Is the lack of options worrying? It's the same players are going to the well again. Is that an issue for you, Linda?
It is a wee bit. The yards that young Barron and Diamande seem to be covering in the team, they just look as if they're, as I say, they are covering a lot of ground. And I know it's the way that we get, he sets up the team, Ox. Although Lawrence in the away game was still running, he'd quite a bit of running in him at the end, because he contributed to our equaliser. He made that nice wee pass and he got up the park. But I just hope that we're not going to be over-reliant on young players like Barron and Diamande. But he's not really got a lot of options just now, and I would imagine that that's one of the areas he'll definitely be looking to bring someone in. I mean, the other option I've seen maybe people suggesting is that he would bring Sterling in and push Diamande up to the number 10 Ox and put Lawrence on the bench. But I don't know if that was maybe what we tried at the weekend, but it perhaps didn't work. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I would have Sterling in the team, but it's where you play him, and if you play him wide, left or right, I don't think they're getting the best out of him, so I don't understand that. Takes Southside's point on board. He's a right back. If you're not playing him there, for me, he plays in midfield. And then does Barron come out, or do you play with Diamande and Barron as well, change your shape, or do you play with the same system that takes Lawrence out, or do you move Lawrence to the left, Southside?
We've talked about this million.
To the left.
Aye, I mean, because you could have Diamande left, you could have Sterling right in the middle, you could have Conor Barron just slightly to the right and play a 3. But if you take Diamande out for talking sake and you play Sterling and Conor Barron in, who picks the ball up in sort of a deeper position, or just run about the halfway line and drives forward and tries to play the through passes? Like you've seen Diamande do at Hampden when he picks the ball up a wee bit deeper, strode forward and played the ball through to Dessers, who then cut inside and then shot it out of the bar. He's a ball carrier, I think, in the midfield. I think he's the guy who picks the ball up and tries to take it forward. Sometimes he's a wee bit erratic, and he's got a good final pass in. You've seen him make a few good passes when he gets into the positions. He's still young, but I think because we're not controlling the full game, we seem to either drift out it or we seem to lose our way. So if you play Sterling in there, then do you think he'll still do the same as what Diamandi will do? Right forward, play the wee cut passes through or whatever, maybe even get to the edge of the box and score? Or are you asking Barron to do that? If you played the three, you can play Sterling in the middle and play Barron, like I said, they two right and left, and let they two try and bomb forward now and again. You know, and he sits as a six, as a destroyer. In case anything breaks down, he's there to sit in at the wingman and try and get the ball back if they two are going forward. But then you're taking that 10 out, you need to take that 10 away then.
Right. Interesting. Linda?
Yeah, I think you're right, Southside. I mean, Sterling, maybe know the one that can pick the ball up and pick off passes. I don't want to do him a disservice in that regard. I'm sure that's something that he could maybe add to his game, because he seems to be developing every other aspect of how to play football. I don't know. I think probably we've got the team right, Ox. He probably will just go for the Barron, Diamandi and Lawrence combination, because that's what he's played so far. With a view to maybe bringing Sterling on to shore things up if we can get ourselves in the lead. But Lawrence is doing all right in terms of the minutes he's playing, Ox. We would just like to see a wee bit more from him. I would like to see him taking some more shots and maybe trying to get on the score sheet again himself.
Listen, I thought he was okay in Kiev. I thought he was poor on Saturday, Southside.
I agree. I mean, he nearly scored in the first minute, or just over the first minute in Poland against them. But listen, I just think he wasn't in the game enough. And if you're playing in the 10, you need to try and get on the ball, and you're the guy that's going to go and create a score or set up. You know, you're looking for him to do stuff. I mean, he's not on the ball and he's not in the game, then that 10 doesn't look as if he's doing much at all. Should probably drop into midfield, make us a 3 off the ball. But he was disappointing on Saturday, and we're looking for a far better performance when we get him on the ball on Tuesday night.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. As I said, come and join us. We're moving into the last 40 minutes of the show. Let's see your thoughts. Big game tomorrow night. Big game for the club. Big game for Scottish football, Linda.
Yeah, it is, because our coefficient's not looking too clever. I think somebody had posted something today, Ox, where we've slipped down to maybe something like 16th, and with season 25-26, we'll only have one team in the Champions League, and it'll be something like qualifying round 2. And I think we'll drop down to just 4 teams overall in Europe. So the days of Rangers carrying Scottish football in Europe, they'll need to start to chip in and help.
I think Rangers have contributed 30 points, 36 points for Scotland's coefficients, and the greatest team in the world's ever seen have contributed 10, Southside.
10. Unbelievable, isn't it? The same way it's supposed to be beating everybody at home, and that isn't a problem. No, their European nights, no that nonsense. They'll get absolutely humiliated this year, I know. But listen, we get a result tomorrow night, gets us through, gets coefficient points. And there's the rest of them. Kilmarnock and St Mirren. I don't know how long they'll last. Don't know how that thing's working. I thought last week when one of them get beat up was them out, and then I seen they were playing another game. Did they get into a different league or something?
No, that was the first leg last week, and the second leg's are this Thursday.
Aye, but I thought they'd get beat the week before and they were out, did they know? Kilmarnock or something.
Two of them through, and then, yeah.
But you want them to do something, you know. Whether they last or no, I don't know. And but no, we've been flying the flag for that, mate, for the last number of seasons, the coefficient points.
Aye, but have you heard it mentioned in the media? Have you heard it mentioned when then people want to talk to the manager about Dross? No? Have you, Linda? I must have missed it.
No, we must have missed that. You think they would focus on? I mean, they hardly asked anything about the game as such. I think that they did eventually get onto it. We'll give them a bit of credit for that. But when you think about post Gerrard coming in, some of these, you know, the years that we've had in Europe, Arguably the only one that was a big disappointment was when we actually qualified for the Champions League, but we got there and we were all so pleased. And then obviously getting to the Europa League final. We have punched above our weight every year, really, Ox, and some of the nights and some of the performances that they've given us, a team that have been much criticised domestically. They've not. I never think that they have had the full credit, but as long as we appreciated it, but I don't even think they did get the recognition that they deserved in Scotland.
Is that was causing some of the criticism Southside for us? Is it the frustration you've watched and then what you've watched a few days later?
Aye, you get that. The two finals we've got to. If you remember the first one in Manchester, we played some amount of games, and you think they would have gave us a bit of respite in hoping that a Scottish team will go on and win a European trophy. But we didn't get that, because I think they were going on a tour of Japan or something. They couldn't extend the season, which never happened. And then obviously we get to Seville. I mean, hardly get any preparation for that really in the lead up to that. We had to just play our games. But listen, we punch above our weight in Europe. Even some of the teams that we've beaten at times. And although we've done most of it in the Europa League, we've still played a lot of good teams in that Europa League. Teams that went into the Champions League the following year and toughed that mob for other city, Cub Dame. So we've done well in Europe, and it's just about trying to just beat Kiev, and it'll be another good scalp, mate. And it's a decent team, and it'll get coefficient points, because I think they'll probably be quite close to Scotland in the coefficient points of Ukraine, won't they?
I would think so, mate. I would think so. Right, okay. Now moving in the last half an hour of the show. Let's hear from these.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, and it's important for I mean, if you fall down the rankings, I think your qualify start about April, Linda, if I'm being honest.
I think bizarrely, Ox, as well, the runners-up, I think I said to you before we come on here, the runners-up in the league, it's the Conference League qualifiers you go into, but it seems to be the cup winners would go into the Europa League. We would be really in. Nobody would be no Scottish team would be guaranteed group stage football the way that we are just now if we stay in that position. As I said, we're 16th, but I don't know how far away we are for getting back up to. Is it maybe up to 10th? You get the better places. But I think there's a lot of work to be done. So when Scottish teams are playing, I know we can have a bit of a laugh sometimes. But when they do pick up the points, if they can get some victories, it will help. Because these qualifiers, as we know, remember Gerrard's first couple of seasons, particularly his first one, was it 4 qualifying rounds we had, Ox? And we got into the group stages. Was it Ufa away? Was the playoff? I mean, that seems a lifetime ago.
Was it Ufa away, Southside?
So what?
Was it Ufa away?
Ufa,
yeah.
Aye.
Hello.
Ufa. But listen, we do well in Europe, and that's the thing. We punch above our weight, and we've had some great results. And it's just, this is what we're up against. Scottish football's nonsense. You kick the ball, you get it back straight away. In Europe, you get the ball, you usually taking a by kick or maybe picking it out your net at times. That's the difference in quality you're playing against, and you've got to adapt in Europe to how we play week in, week out in Scotland. That's just the problem.
All right, we've been joined by AK Senior. Evening.
Good evening, Ox and Southside and Linda's first time I spoke to Linda. I just wanted to give my opinion on this system, player system that Rangers raised, this 4-3. What is it? 4-2-3-1.
Yes.
As you know, I'm a vintage Rangers supporter, so I've seen overlapping fullbacks and wing backs and inverted fullbacks and even goalkeepers having to play football. But I cannot for the life of me understand this system. What is the advantage of it? The number 10, to me, if he goes forward, he leaves, as Southside said earlier, a gaping big hole in the middle of the park. And I just can't see. The thing I would say was about the wingers. We may have winger backs because they would constantly have to come in back the way to the midfield, and that would give you the 4 in the midfield. To me, if the number 10 is lazy and just constantly attacks, I don't see the advantage in it. All I see is players having to cover up for each other. And at the end of the day, I watched, as you know, my eyesight's not the best, but I watched England with 4 world-class players, and Foden, thing with Harry Kane, that Saka, and then the player, the world, what's that guy's name, plays with...
Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham.
And they couldn't play it. I mean, how bad was England's tournament? They couldn't play that. And I don't know, for some reason, Clement wants Rangers to play this, even though he doesn't have the players to play it. And we said last season when we were speaking, you were on about would he change his system. I don't think he'll ever change his system. I think he sees something in this system that will hurt opponents. But so far as I can see, it's not really worked out. Because if our 2 players move to the left or the right, we leave a huge hole. And you've already said the defence, if you put players straight on your Suter, and you have no much chance, to be truthful. It's just, I can't for the life of me see the advantage in that system. It's only my opinion.
Yeah, listen, a lot of sense. A lot of sense, and I don't disagree with a lot of it. Linda, help us out. I've said my piece on it often enough.
Nice to speak to you, AK Senior. Nice to hear from you.
AK Senior is the brains of the family. He is official. And then number 2 is Mrs. AK Senior. And then it starts falling away after that. Carry on, Linda.
That's not a surprise, Ox, is it? That's not a surprise.
I'm on the phone to them.
Oh, I think I would like us to go back, maybe even play a 4-4-2, AK Senior. That was the formation that I was brought up on.
Yeah.
But I don't think that will happen. But no, Ox has been talking about this shape for months, last season as well. And when we're on the ball and we're pushing up, you can see what's, that what we're perhaps trying to do. But when we don't have the ball, we're just one pass away from taking near enough the whole midfield out. And we can see it, and we're a wee bit frustrated at times that we don't know what the manager's seeing, AK Senior, but it's definitely leaving us a bit exposed, isn't it?
Yes, it is. As I say, if I could see the advantage of it, then you would say, okay, work it until we get the system perfect. You can see the advantage of 4-4-2, 4-3-3. Thing with it gives you defence and attack. But this number 10 floating about, I don't really get it, to be truthful. And the man of Clement's experience, and I've already said, if world-class players can't play that system, what chance have average players got to playing it?
Southside.
I don't like the system either, but we've probably heard us all talk about it. A few years I've said we don't like it. Maybe if he gets a proper number 6, a proper number 10, you've got Cortez back playing, because I think he will be really good, and you've got Czerny on the other wing, then it might work because you'll have a bit more speed and creativity and stuff. And I don't know. I just think in Scotland we can either play 4-4-2, 4-3-3, or a 3-5-2. Simple as that. It shouldn't be an issue. We've got players that should be able to go in and play in a 3. We've got 3. We can play 3 centre backs, and we can easily play 5 in midfield.
Yeah.
The wingers that will go down the line and whatever. You might even need to play with full-backs in certain games. You could play with a winger, because in Scotland we should be going forward all the time and dominating most of the games.
Yeah,
you know, and so it doesn't fall into a back five in Scotland, although if you had to fall into a back five at times, fair enough, but you wouldn't have to very often. You should be on the front foot, and then you'd control that midfield in games in Scotland. But I don't like the system either. We're too open. There's big holes in the middle of the park. And it's just the way that's what I'd love one of them to ask him at a press conference. Are you rigid? Are you stuck on this? I even try to watch them. See, when they were taking a goal kick, we did set up at times like a 4-3-3 when they were taking a by kick. But then there's other times you could see Lawrence sat slightly back just behind Dessers and the two wingers sort of wide. And it was that one in there. And they're not quick enough to go and shut down now and rob them with the ball. I think Clermont wants to condense the game further up the park, keep them in their own half and try and win the ball back. But it's when you don't and there's a big switch on or somebody doesn't do their job, then we're just opened up to, it's like the Alamo coming at us, you know, players are brighting all over the place.
Yes. Is Czerny tracking back, or is he just solely a creative player?
I've seen him back in the first half, chasing back and getting involved. But listen, mate, I want to see him involved further up the park. Yeah, if I'm honest, AK Senior. Yeah.
Yeah, because once they're by Czerny, all you've got is Tavernier, unless Barron moves across, and when he moves across, you've got the big hole in the middle.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. I think that's the point the Southside's making, isn't it, Southside?
Yeah.
Aye, 100%. It's too noticeable.
I think the two and the two in the middle will get too much grunt to cover, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Aye. Just as well they're fit and enthusiastic and young. And when I heard his comment about John Lumsden, I'm 100% behind Clermont, but I've just took 1% off him. I think it was either a dig, the directors not getting into their pockets to give Lumsden the big wage rise. And I think most of the Rangers supporters were just glad to see him go, because it just slowed the game down to his pace. And now we've got legs in the middle of the park at least, and the tempo of the game will be a lot faster the Rangers' point of view, and probably more enjoyable to watch.
Lundstrom or Connor Barron, Linda?
Oh, Connor Barron. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Southside, I know it's a big call, we're putting pressure on Connor, but what we've seen so far?
Enthusiasm, gets on the ball, tries to make the pass, dived in last week just through being keen and raw and a wee bit inexperienced, and the big man just sold him a dummy. Won a great tackle on Saturday around about the halfway line, and took the ball away and come away with it. So I see a lot of positives. I'm hoping he'll grow and he'll become a really good player. It depends whether, if he wants to buy this number 6, it will depend how the system's going to work after that. Is he dropping a Diamandi, or is he dropping a Connor Barham? And if he buys one and he comes in, that's the issue. But at the moment, the wee man's full of energy, full of heart and desire, and he's been playing pretty well.
AK Senior, Lundstrom or Barron?
Oh, it's definitely got to be Barron. As I say, I was never Lundstrom's greatest fan, but we got him on a free transfer, and obviously his wages were quite substantial. But if he had produced, then the fans wouldn't have bothered too much. But I think he produced against Borussia Dortmund over in Dortmund. But basically there were too many times he just strolled through the game and shrugged his shoulders if Rangers come off get beaten. I don't think he played in an Old Firm victory, did he? Did he play in one Old Firm victory? And if you don't do it in the Old Firm, the Rangers fans are not very forgiving. You're a hero if you do the business against them. But Lundstrom, to me, he's a professional player, but he just didn't excite me one iota.
We've been joined by wee Al. Evening, Al.
Good evening, everybody. How you all doing?
Good to hear from you. I hope you've clocked off when you're calling us, mate.
Oh, I never. Not today. Hi Linda, hi Southside, hi ODK.
Hi Al.
Hi Al.
What's on your mind, Al?
I just want to call in. You're talking about the team, and kind of I want to call and give you my team. So I want to go Butland, Ridvan, Proper, Sura, Tav, Barn, Dio, Diamante, Jeff D on the left, Cerny on the right. This is up top. And then I think he'll go with Lawrence, but I was just kind of figuring out how we could get Sterling in the starting lineup. But there's 4 of our new players on. I think that would be a good team to start off with.
I think that's pretty similar with your name, Linda.
Yeah, I think that is Ox. And we were also trying to, think maybe how we could get perhaps Sterling into the team, Al. But we're just thinking he'll probably will just stick with Lawrence and maybe bring Sterling on to shore things up, hopefully if we're in the lead.
Yeah, I hope so, because I think the white players are making a difference. Because I'm like you guys as well, I don't really like the structure, but I noticed last year and watching a lot of tactical guys talking about it, every time we were out of possession, we would fall into a 4-4-2. We did that in all the Old Firm games. So there is movement. I think Rangers' problem is the players that we've had. For years and years and years, we've brought in the seasoned pro, but the seasoned pros don't have energy. So when without the ball, they're not running around, they're not filling their spaces. You could see if we could have 90 minutes of that first 45 minutes of that on Saturday, that if we play that, if we can get fitness up and get guys running around for 90 minutes like that, we're going to be a really good team, and new players to come in too, right?
I was going to bring in my seasoned pro expert, but Fox is busy Southside, so it's over to you.
I think we've got energy in certain areas now of the team. Like you say, we've got midfield with Barron and Diamante running about in there. And I think up front, Dessers is starting to be a wee bit more mobile, I thought, on Saturday. I thought his fitness is probably up again a wee bit, maybe just with the amount of games he's been playing. But I thought he worked hard on Saturday, more than what I had seen him in the past. You've also got Scott Wright when he's on. He has got pace and he can get in behind Cherny. Looks like once he's up to fitness, he'll have a bit of pace to burn as well. But he looks skillful. He looks like he's got vision. Looking forward to him getting a lot fitter. If we could get a couple of players in the right positions, I agree. Lawrence he's not going to last all the time, but I think the team we picked is the team with more fitness levels in them. It's been playing more games slightly than the rest, and I think you've got to look at how the game's going to be going. Certain players might need a rest, or you might have to make changes, and I think the bench will be important. So I think that's maybe how Sterling will be on the bench, because he'll probably have to come on. McCausland might have to come on, and Kieran Dowell probably have to come on at some point. I think that'll be sort of 3 changes. Half the top of my head.
I thought he was dreadful again on Saturday. I know he wasn't on that.
You get 10 minutes. 10 minutes. You go.
I know, mate. But I still thought, nothing, mate. Nothing. Yeah, and I know that. I get it. You come on, you can't get involved. I get all that, but I don't know. I just don't know if he's good enough. But maybe make me eat my words, AK Senior.
Well, Southside said he only got 10 minutes, but that's him 3 substitutes. I take it you'll need a centre half substitute, because you were saying earlier you didn't think Proper would probably last the game.
Well, based on Saturday, Linda, he ran about. Well, I was going to say run about 60 minutes, but that was 75 in a real game, wasn't it? Yeah, but
I think it'll be Davies. It'll be on the bench, depending on how Balogun is. But Davies would probably be on the bench, and if Proper doesn't last the 90, which I don't think we expect him to, but you never know. As you said earlier, Ox, the game on Saturday would have helped him. That's minutes under his belt, more settled, more training sessions, albeit will be a bit of recovery in there as well. But I would imagine that Davies would be the substitute centre back, and as we said, we've got young King, and hope we don't need him, but Sterling could maybe sub in there if required, but hopefully that won't be necessary.
Yeah.
We are, and you come out.
Well, Linda's got the point of Davis and that, but I don't think any are too confident in his defending. He's a competent player enough, but as far as out-and-out defending is concerned, he's got a question mark over him. I hope it's no need, as you were saying earlier, if we can get the early goal, then they can set it into a rhythm and then just use the substitutes when required in a normal game. It's amazing again, 2 games played, Hearts game, Cortez goes off injured, now we've got Doughter Balogun after playing a second game. There were nobody injured abroad. I think we come home with a fresh, no injuries for the first leg, but
I don't know if that's true, mate, about abroad. I'm hearing rumours that Andy Felix fell off a sandcastle.
Aye, well, some man. Aye, well, as I said, 2-3 games in and talking about injuries, I've never known a manager having to go to press conferences and firefights so much in my life as Clement, getting asked all the time about injuries. It's amazing. He's the one that said he would change it with the medical department and he would get them all pre-season. And I know, obviously, the Euros have really interrupted his plans for signings and slowed players getting put out the door for sale. Hopefully things will pick up this week or next week at the very latest. And we'll see the player movement going out and player movement coming in. And they're doing well at actually getting the wage bill down, because it really was far, far too high. Again, everything pales into insignificance. If you can win trophies and leagues, then the fans don't bother what the wage bill is. It's down to the directors to look after that. But when you see constant failure season after season and guys walking out, in fact walking away from Ibrox to get lucrative signing on fees, then the fans take a wee bit umbrage at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we're definitely I think we started at 33 players. We're down to 31 in the squad, and the guys coming in, they're not getting paid like the Lundstroms and the Barisic. Even Clement mentioned that himself. So the wage bill is coming down. We've got these guys in, and even from Popper's interview and Journey's interview, you can tell they're excited to be here. So they're going to give it all in the field. So and that's the type of characters and the type of guys we're in, because as I talked about this before, you bring in the old season pro, gets paid a fortune, his effort is not as much, and you can see that in the park and it affects the shape. I believe that in a way as well. But this is Bridge says it all the time, this next game, this is a massive, I can't explain how big this game is, because if you think about it, when we went to the Europa League final, and then that, and compared to money financials wise, compared to when we were in the Champions League, we made just as much from those 6 games in the Champions League as went all the way to the final. Obviously, fans and daily revenue at the stadium was more. But it's not. I'm not scared to go in the Champions League because we'll maybe get beat. For me, it's bringing as much money as you can, and don't make your players play like that 30 games in that Europa League. I think that's so important.
Yes, it's a very important tie to try and get inside the Champions League, without a doubt.
Aye, and obviously the games will come thick and fast. I believe it's next Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Am I right? Southside, if we win. Hampden again, so we're back at Hampden for the
21st game, I think. The 21st of
so
August.
That's Wednesday, a week Wednesday.
Was it? Aye, so it'll either be FC, if we can get through this tie, it'll be FC 20 or Salzburg, so it's another tough game. But listen, we've got nothing to fear. We know they're going to be dangerous tomorrow night. They're a decent team. They've got some good players. They're not a brilliant team, but they're a good team. And we're still trying to find our feet and rebuild and patch our squad together through injury again, because Balogun fit would probably have started. And he probably won't tomorrow. So we've got injuries to contend with. So if we get through, it might even be a better result than we'll get credit for.
Aye. Just to burst a bubble, Linda, our clubs are going a bad way financially. What we've done, we've left a lot of players who weren't contributing on big wages and then we've got to be prudent because of the FFP. So we've got to get some of the players out and get the other players in on slightly wages just to benefit the whole future of the club. What's going on? We've not got revenue.
I know, Ox, and these rules, if you look across the whole of football, you know, in terms of the signings, every club's very mindful of it. You know,
apart
when you
from
look
Chelsea,
at,
I think.
Apart from Chelsea, I don't know. There's some clubs that seem to find a way, but if you look at the number of transfers, everybody, as I said, it's very much in people's thoughts now. I mean, the thing about us last year as well, the last couple of years, we had some players that were on big wages, that, as you say, they were injured a lot and sitting in the stands. All the players that were out of contract, I think it was right that they moved on. I know the manager wanted to keep John Lundstrom. I don't really think very many fans agreed with that. Certainly not at increased wages. So we were all quite happy to see Lundstrom go. It was time to shake hands and move on. But certainly the players that are coming in, Clement's made reference to it already, as you said. It's all about looking at the wage structure. But he doesn't have to answer all these questions around the finances as well, Ox, doesn't he? He's some man when it comes to talking about it.
Aye. We've got to burst that bubble, Southside. You know, obviously the narrative with some of the people in the press and some of the so-called Rangers supporters who are like some of our forums, etc. You know, it ain't the case. You know, the books don't say that, but what it did say is my wage bill was too high, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Aye, 100%. I think we all know that.
It was for people. The people were paying for when they playing, you know, it's ridiculous.
Aye, it's we took a gamble on some of them and hoping they would have got a return, and some just haven't done the business, and that's when then you have to start to look at it and say, right, they have to go. But like you say, sometimes it's harder to get some out the door than others, and some have ran their contracts down to go out the door. But there's certainly money there. I mean, if we were guaranteed Cantwell would be gone tomorrow, or something, or somebody else was gone tomorrow, then I dare say we went out and signed the boy for FC20. You know, whether Golston went or no, he had to be replaced, and we'll replace more players. But it's definitely down to the financial fair play. We've restricted ourselves, but hopefully we've been freeing up some money now with some of the players gone. And there's still at least another 5 or 6 you could see easily could get that door. Some will go for money, and maybe even get one out in a loan deal or 2 out in a loan deal if you could out the road and try and bring in somebody else. But at the end of the day, financial fair play is hammered us now because we've had players too long on high wages, and some have contributed. And to be honest, Golston and Tav to a point have been a bit more wear and tear, I think. Because the amount of games he'd played, Ox, in these seasons, over 300 games on a bounce, 50, 60 games a season, it takes its toll on anybody, let's be honest.
Takes its toll on Kemar Roof.
Aye, if he played a third of the games.
Aye. I think we're going to never lose track. I know we're at Hampden and ain't ideal, Mr. AK. But however, we've got to remember the project we're completing to benefit our disabled fans and increase the capacity at the stadium, yeah?
Without a doubt.
For a long-term game.
To me, the most important thing about going and supporting the Rangers is to watch good football. Rangers have always played good football. I don't know how Southside sees and Linda sees the actual game, that they enjoy the 90 minutes. Because nowadays, you'll hear this expression, it's the 3 points that matter. Well, I'm sorry, you're paying £50 to see football. You're wanting a good game of football for your heroes. I couldn't care less if Motherwell played good, bad or indifferent, but I want to see Rangers play well. That's why you support them.
Linda?
Yeah, I agree, K Senior. I want to see some good football. I mean, I think of a season, when you're winning things, there's games you just need to get over the line. But certainly, we want to see a good football, and we want our team to score goals. Like at the weekend, K Senior, like see that game, the 2-1, and it was about getting over the line. But get the third and fourth goal, and then it makes it a bit more enjoyable to watch, because you're waiting and, tender hooks for them to maybe anything could happen. The opposition could get the break of a ball, and then before we know it, we're drawing the game. But I just want us to play more attacking football and score more goals, because I think that's what's cost us over the last couple of seasons.
Without a doubt. Hopefully, as you're saying earlier there, Clement gets the players in before the transfer window closes, and that way you'll see good football, and good football will follow victories. And as you say, it's always, you sit there and you say, oh God, Rangers get the third goal before they score. If it's 1-0, 2-0, get the third goal, and then obviously their heads go down. You've seen it so many times in the past. But now we sit there and we're going, well, I hope the defence is strong enough. And so far, 2 games played in the league. What is it? They lost 1 goal. But we know that waiting round the corner for us is the Celtic game in September, and we want the strongest Rangers team to play them when we go to Celtic Park.
Yeah. Last word for your good self. We are.
Hi guys. Yeah, no, I just thought it was good to call in and get my team out there, and I'm just excited for tomorrow. So hopefully we have a good game, score some goals, and and then we can move on. And then, as I say, things will get better. Thanks, guys.
He's a professional caller in our Southside. Don't know why he was paid for phoning in.
Aye. Brilliant. It's the way to do it.
I'll get back to work now.
Cheers, Al.
Cheers, guys.
Last word for your good self, AK Senior, the one and only.
Well, thanks for taking my call. It's been enjoyable speaking to Linda and Southside and we Alfie Canada and yourself, Ox. As I said earlier, I cannot understand the advantage of this system. Maybe you'll get an answer for you one day and tell it to other Rangers fans as to why we play that system. But anyway, as they always say, come on the Rangers, we can do it. Thanks for the call. Good night. All the best.
Good night. I think he's spot on with the system, Linda. I think he's spot on.
Yeah, definitely, Ox. Absolutely. Great show tonight, Ox. Good to be on the south side and your good self, and good luck to Rangers tomorrow night. I'm going for a 2-1 victory, and I think it'll be the same goal scorers as we had on Saturday.
Oh, there you go, south side.
No, you're going to go against the Rangers. Shocking, Linda. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed the show. Good to be on with Linda, even though she's wanting Rangers to concede a goal tomorrow night.
What she's done there with the same goal scorers as Saturday, it's per many 2-3, isn't it?
Aye. Well, I'm going for a CD9 double. I'll take that 2-0 to the famous. So come on, the Rangers tomorrow. Just do this. So thanks for having us on.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for the two of you for doing the show. It was a pleasure being on with the two of you. Good to hear from the manager. Good to hear from AK Senior and wee Alfie all the way in Canada, who's becoming a regular caller on the south side, isn't he? Oh, is he gone? Is he lost me? Right, okay. Right, this has been Rangers Radio. Thanks to AK Senior, wee Alfie in Canada, Linda and Southside for doing the show, Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals, and everybody for listening. Rangers Radio will be back tomorrow night at 6:45 with a pre-match show as we build up to a massive game at Hampden as Rangers play the second leg of a European Cup tie against Dynamo Kiev. Hopefully another famous night. Take it away, Old School Blue.